Imagine for a moment a young lady the age of 23 has a quarrel with a friend, a simple argument, but she becomes so angry that she has to get out of that house right away, and she runs out of the house, gets into her car, starts it, puts it in gear, and backs straight into a pole, completely wrecking her car. You see me standing here, and you hear about my aptitudes and my accomplishments, but what you can't see is that I have struggled my entire life with rage. I am that young woman. My mother says I was a happy baby, but I think she's forgetting the times I wasn't so happy. I was that toddler you always hear about that screams and kicks her feet and turns her face blue by holding her breath. And I grew into a violent preteen, having episodes of rage where I would become physically violent. At the age of 25, I got married. And I was still having these episodes. Things would happen that I couldn't control. I couldn't control my reactions. I couldn't control the screaming, the crying. I got really good about not showing this in public, about holding it together when I was in public. But then I felt like I was wearing a mask and that underneath it was something really ugly and horrible. So I decided it might be a good idea to go into martial arts to learn some self-control. And I enrolled in karate. I competed, I fought, I had a great outlet for some of the pent-up energy, but I still had challenges with my mental health. I remember vividly having a conversation with my husband when we started our family, and I had little children. And I said to him, I think it might be better for the family if I weren't here. And hearing this, he thought immediately I was thinking about suicide. And so he insisted that I see a doctor and get help, which I did. And I started using medication for depression and medication for anxiety. And I still continued to struggle. I just wanted to be happy. And I couldn't understand why was it so hard to just be happy and to be stable. I can remember making a meal for my family and then not being able to sit down and eat with them because all I could do was cry. And so I would take my food and go into a dark room and sit there and eat alone. It was a hard time. I didn't understand what was happening. Along the way, I did get my black belt at the age of 40, and I loved martial arts. I grew to really enjoy martial arts, and I knew I wanted to stay in my training, but I also knew I could not maintain that high level of athleticism. I'm not a natural athlete, and so it was very hard. I was beginning to have chronic pain in my arms and my knees and my shoulders. So I thought, well, maybe I'll go into Tai Chi and I'll study Tai Chi. And I found a Tai Chi master. His name is Samuel. And Samuel just exudes peace. You're in his presence and you feel calm and quiet and centered. And I thought, this is how I want to be all of the time, on the outside, projecting that, and on the inside. And so I started training with Samuel and learning Tai Chi. One day I asked him a few months into our training, and I said, Samuel, what are these exercises we are doing, this warm-up that we do before we practice the form? I don't know what this is. It's not like any other sports warm-up I've ever done. And he said, oh, the warm-ups. This is wild goose Qigoong. I had never heard of Qigoong. So I said, tell me more about Qigoong. Qigoong is a form of energy work that's done for health and longevity in traditional Chinese medicine. After I got my teacher training finished for Tai Chi, I asked Samuel to start teaching me Qigong. It's very different from Tai Chi, and I'm going to teach you just a little bit of it before I end my talk today. So we started to learn Qigong. I'm working with him. I'm still having these episodes, and they're still just as bad, and they're still violent, and I don't understand it. I heard about a doctor. His name is Dr. Amen. He lives near, his office is near where I lived in California at the time, and so I went to him to have a special test done, and it's called Spect Imaging. It's basically a 3D picture of your brain that is taken with a special camera. And he took a scan. I was really nervous to go in there because, you know, you want to make sure your brain is okay. This is my scan. This is a normal scan. And I think you can see some significant differences. What Dr. Amen explained to me was I was experiencing depression and anxiety at the same time. And I was also experiencing a lowered level of impulse control. So I was having rages. Gratefully, 6 of the 7 prescriptions that I got were not prescription drugs. They were prescriptions like, believe it or not, yoga or Tai Chi, exercise, meditation, and 3 specific supplements. He also prescribed a certain medication that targets the brain and helps to calm the brain. He explained it to me this way. He said, your brain basically has a small seizure, and that is exactly what it felt like. So I started practicing the mind-body techniques he suggested, but I wasn't consistent. I couldn't find a way to be consistent. It was easier to be consistent with taking the pills. But I would find something, another diagnosis down the road that would make sure I learned to be consistent. 2.5 years ago, I was diagnosed with a tumor. This is a scan of the tumor. I healed by using alternative therapies, and this is the tumor 4 months after I started doing the therapies. You'll notice the middle of the tumor is dark. There's no colors. This is a color Doppler scan. If there was blood flow in the tumor, there would be colors in the tumor, and there aren't. After 4 months, the tumor was dead. I was consistently practicing my mind-body techniques. I think healing can be easy, and in my case, it was easy. This is 3 months ago. I went from having 5 centimeters of cancer in the breast, including some lesions on my lungs and a lymph node, to this 6-millimeter scar. This is all that's left. And I did this by using natural therapies, non-toxic therapies, but really being diligent with my mind-body techniques, with my Qigong and with my meditation. What I was doing was actually utilizing a natural defense the body has in moving me out of the sympathetic nervous system. When we live our lives very busy and very frantic and never breathing, you know the pace, you are switching on the oncogenes or the cancer genes, and you are turning off the tumor suppressor genes. When you do the body-mind techniques like the Qigong and the meditation, you are putting the body in the parasympathetic nervous system, and you are switching on the tumor suppressor genes and turning off the oncogenes. Would you like to experience the parasympathetic nervous system? All right. So right where you're sitting, just get comfortable. Close your eyes. Have your feet on the floor and begin to breathe a little more slowly, a little more deeply. And as you breathe in, begin to visualize a white mist coming in with your breath and filling your lungs. And then exhale. The next breath, breathe in a blue mist and see the color blue going down to your kidneys, lighting up your kidneys with blue. And exhale. Breathe in a beautiful green mist and see the green going to your liver located under your right rib cage. And exhale. Next, bring in a beautiful color of red, a red mist going straight to your heart, and see the heart light up with red. Exhale. Breathe in a beautiful bright yellow, and see the yellow go to your spleen, just underneath your left rib cage. And exhale. Begin to breathe naturally, and just touch back in with these colors and see the white, the blue, the green, the red, and the yellow, and become aware of your body as a container for a rainbow. Feel the energy of this rainbow and smile. Oh, deep breaths in and out. Feel that energy of the rainbow, a healing energy in the traditional Chinese medicine, healing to the bone marrow, which helps modulate your immune system. And with gratitude and love, gently, slowly open your eyes. That is your parasympathetic nervous system. It's as easy to activate as standing in front of an aquarium and watching fish, looking out the window at a tree, breathing deeply, taking a moment to just still and quiet yourself. After doing these practices, I'm happy to tell you I have no more cancer and my brain chemistry is stable. I have not had a meltdown since before I was diagnosed, 2 years and about 3 months ago. I feel happy, I feel stable, I feel like that 6-millimeter scar in my body is a messenger, a teeny tiny messenger, reminding me that it takes great intention and consistency to make an enormous change, and I am grateful for cancer, and I'm grateful for rage. I think it saved my life.